Okay guys, I am now 15 weeks pregnant. So entering week 16 now, which is crazy. It feels very surreal, but right now I'm 15 and this is my weekly update. So my symptoms this week is pretty much sleep oriented. I've been sleeping a lot worse than I usually do because I've gotten a lot of leg cramping. A lot of you can probably relate to that. It is just horrible. They're so restless and I have to get up like a million times to pee, and sleep is really suffering right now. So that's my biggest symptom, I think. Yeah, working on a lot less sleep is absolutely horrendous. I've also experienced a little bit more nausea, especially like sudden hunger nausea and car nausea for some reason. So it might be correlated to the sleep issue, but yeah, definitely I'm struggling this week. My cravings this week is very light, I think. I'm still into melons and a ton of blueberries. I also have a craving for baguette with butter and just some cheese. That is just my absolute favorite these days, and I'm devouring it. What I'm feeling this week. I'm obviously very tired, both physically and mentally, obviously. It's hard being pregnant again after such a huge loss that we suffered last year. And it's really getting really to me. It's crawling under my skin and I'm just exhausted. Obviously, it's probably correlated to the sleep issue as well. But yeah, I'm very tired. I'm worried a lot and I'm struggling. I'm also getting very anxious to know baby's gender. I feel like when I know what sex Bambi is gonna be, it's gonna be easier for me to connect. I am struggling a little bit to connect to this baby. For those of you guys who have experienced loss before, you can probably relate to feeling that this is not gonna go well. You know, I'm already kind of like thinking, this has a end date. I'm gonna bury another child, and it's a lot. Like I said, definitely struggling. But the size of the baby this week is the size of an orange. It is almost as long as a clownfish, and it's as long as credit cards. And I think that's a very, it's a very physical thing I could hold and like feel, see how big it is. It kind of, it's kind of like the same like a phone. Yeah, so it's getting bigger, which, makes me believe that it's gonna go well, but then I have these ghosts in my head, saying it's definitely not. So yeah. Some facts for week 15, Bambi is still very, very small. I can probably fit in the size, like in the palm of my hand here, but it is getting amazing with its abilities already. Despite its very, very small size, it can now coordinate movements because the nervous system is now fully developed, and it works with the correlation between the brain and muscles. So it's now moving around on purpose. It still has plenty of space in the uterus and can kick and perform somersaults, and yeah, so still a lot of amniotic fluid in there. However, it is still pretty hard to feel movements. I have, it's not set and it comes and goes. I've felt it twice now, and that helps a lot for sure. But obviously it's probably still gonna take a little while because all of the amniotic fluid is soundproof, which is weird because it can still send sounds, so yeah. However, the baby's kick is very visible on the ultrasound, and it is turning and tossing a lot when we see it. Usually at this stage, if you can feel the baby move, it's gonna feel like the classic butterfly kicks or like fluttering. I also like to think of it as, the tail of a fish, or like soft knuckles going like this on the inside of your palm. And I've also seen people saying if you hold your palm to your cheek and you move your tongue around like this, that's kind of how it feels on the inside. So go ahead and try it. It is, however, very similar to bowel movements, but it's kind of one of those things when you know, you know. There's a difference. Sometimes it can go a long time and then you'll even look back and be like, oh, wait, I did. I like to jot down when I first feel baby, and yeah, I keep it you know, in the baby book, and it's a very special keepsake. So that's a highly recommended tip for the people who, you know, write down every part of their pregnancy. Anyway, that was all for my 15th week update, and I'll see you next week unless I'm asleep. Bye!